Hello there everyone! So today I'm gonna count down my top 10 most beautiful Pokemon and why I think they are. It's called Aqua Drink and it's pink. It looks pink but it doesn't taste like it. This is not really relevant. Let's go. Number 10. Meganium. The herb Pokemon. Its breath has the fantastic ability to revive dead plants and flowers. In battle, it gives off more of its becoming scent to blunt the foe's fighting spirit. The aroma that rises from its petals contains a substance that calms aggressive feelings. Anyone who stands beside it becomes refreshed, just as if they were relaxing in a sunny forest. Meganium is the final form of Chikorita, as we all know, who a lot of people deny in favor of its counter-type, the little fire mouse.
Chikorita is weak, according to my boyfriend. We've discussed this. We had an hour-long discussion of who I should start out with. Totodile. Just because Totodile is a badass. I was thinking about Cyndaquil.
I'm not particularly pointing fingers at anyone when I say that most of us go for either Cyndaquil or Totodile during the picking ceremony. Not that that's a bad thing, but it does leave Chikorita a little lonely on the desk. I pick Cyndaquil for the most part myself, and if I don't pick him, I usually go for Totodile. And I know that some of my old friends were like that too. It was either Totodile or Cyndaquil. End of story. It is very hard to compete with the two inmates. Chikorita always seemed to be excluded at the picking ceremony, like she was never really an option to begin with. It's a little sad because I do like Chikorita. While fairly cute, she ends up as this beautiful plant eater. Number 9. Shaymin. Shaymin is a small, white hedgehog-like Pokemon. It's the gratitude Pokemon and lives in flower patches and avoids detection by curling up to look like a flowering plant. It can dissolve toxins in the air to instantly transform ruined land into a lush field of flowers. It has green grass-like fur on its back and a pink flower with 2 leaves on each side of its head, which resembles the Grassity flower. Several Grassity-like flowers also appear in its back whenever it feels comfortable, but when it senses an impending danger, it rapidly hides it back. I get a mixed impression when I look at Shaymin in its original form, or should I say, land form to be more formal. One might tell me that Shaymin isn't beautiful at all, but simply cute. Shaymin is definitely cute, I mean, no doubts about that, but there is some scent of old school elegance and style, like, say, if my grandmother were to be a Pokemon, she would likely be a Shaymin. And my grandmother is swag, don't you doubt that. But putting my grandmother aside, Shaymin is cute and beautiful at the same time. Its sky form, however, if we take that into perspective, is completely different looking. It's a transition from old school to modern into this bold looking Pokemon with a ton of energy. I will admit that I don't think its sky form is as classy or elegant as its land form. However, it's more of like a pretty tomboy, bold and pretty. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Number 8. Godamour, the Embrace Pokemon. It has the ability to read the future. If it senses an impending danger to its trainer, it is said to unleash its psychokinetic energy at full power. It has the psychokinetic power to distort the dimensions and create a small black hole. I think I've actually been over this at one point or another. Haven't I? Anyway, you know those days where you're trying to catch a Pokemon but it never really appeared? So you walk around the grass kinda skeptic now that your selected Pokemon is not showing up where it's supposed to be, even though you've double checked a couple of times in your Pokédex. As pissed off as you are at this point, you reluctantly continue the futile search. As to your surprise, it then appears a couple of hours later and the catch is therefore very fulfilling. You caught a rare Pokemon. You're as content as can be with your new catch. There's only a handful of those Pokemon in each generation. Ralts is one of those. In the middle of your journey, Ralts then decides to evolve into Kirlia, a minor disappointment compared to what it's going to become. When you finally reach Godamour, however, you are filled with joy once again. Cause not only is this Pokemon obviously beautiful, that's sort of its trademark, but it's also part of the mainstream depiction of pretty Pokemon. It also has a history of internet fan art, which is bound to give you a boner. You guys, don't try to look it up. Number 7. Milotic. Milotic is an aquatic serpentine Pokemon with a primary cream-colored body. It has red eyes with long pinkish antennae above them. Additionally, there are long hair-like fins above its eyes. Milotic is said to be the most beautiful of all Pokemon. When there are fights going on, it has the power to calm angry feelings and end arguments by releasing a wave of energy. I don't really know if the latter is supposed to be a good thing. In addition, it can move by floating in the air as shown in the anime. It is said to be the most beautiful Pokemon, but not really in my opinion. It definitely has some of the traits that define beauty. I mean, it has elegance, style, and majesticness. It exudes all of these qualities, and while it definitely is beautiful, it's not top-notch. It seems to be missing something natural, something fresh, something natural in nature to define itself. Also, its eyebrows could need a little fix, but that's just my opinion. Aside from that, it's a beautiful Pokemon. Number 6. Absol, the disaster Pokemon. Every time Absol appears before people, it is followed by a disaster such as an earthquake or tidal wave. As a result, it came to be known as the disaster Pokemon. It has the ability to foresee the coming of natural disasters. It lives in a harsh rocked mountain environment. It very rarely ventures down from the mountains. It sharply senses even subtle changes in the sky and the land to predict natural disasters. It is a very long-lived Pokemon that has a lifespan of 100 years. Absol is a pure dark type, and with his Mega Evolution, he is even more majestic and feminine. It's more cool than beautiful for sure, which is saying something since he's here. He's a very unique looking guy, beautiful at that, and I would pick him up anytime. Number 5. Frostlast, the Snowland Pokemon. Legends in snowy regions say that a woman who was lost on an icy mountain was reborn as a Frostlast. Frostlast is a humanoid Pokemon with a hollow torso that resembles a kimono. So yeah, what seems to be its body is actually hollow. Its body lacks feet and it floats in the air like its counterpart, Glalie. Frostlast is an amazing Pokemon if only for its ability to set up spikes. In comparison to Glalie, Frostlast is scarily good. The only ghost type who can set up spikes makes it worth considering, but only as elite. It isn't really strong enough offensively or defensively to be too useful outside of elite. A bit of competitive rambling, but that's not why it's on the list. You all know why, I don't really need to repeat myself. Just take a look at it. Some people might argue that it's ugly or like, I don't know, ugly, but I adore it. Not only a beautiful design, but extremely creative. Number 4. Dragonair is a long serpentine Pokemon covered in blue scales along its back and a bright white underside. Its violet eyes are dark and glossy, has a smooth, rounded snout and a small horn in the middle of its forehead. Dragonair emits a distinct, gentle aura that can be felt by humans. As seen in the anime, it is able to make its wings grow to large sizes in order to fly. Dragonair hosts a large amount of energy within its body, which it can discharge through the orbs on its neck and tail, allowing it to change the weather. Dragonair is a mix of beauty and majestic. It shines, soaring through the sky. It may actually be the most majestic on the list. That's pretty respectable. Number 3. Espeon, the sun Pokemon. Its fur is so sensitive it can sense minute shifts in the air and predict the weather. Its fur has the look and feel of velvet. The orb on its forehead glows when it uses Psycho Power. It uses the fine hair that covers its body to sense air currents and predict its enemies' actions. It is extremely loyal to any trainer it considers to be worthy. It is said to have developed precognitive powers to protect its trainer from harm. All of the EV evolutions could have actually been on this list, but I've always felt that Espeon was ahead of, say, Vaporeon, Glaceon, Umbreon, and the others in terms of beauty by a large margin. I don't know, it's like its cuteness turns to beauty for me. It's a strong mix of elegance and cuteness that makes this Pokemon stand out on the battlefield. I just love using it because it's also an offensive-based Pokemon. With its psychic powers, it's just downright beautiful. Number 2, Arcanine. A legendary Pokemon in China, many people are charmed by its grace and beauty while running. An ancient picture scroll shows that people were attracted to its movement as it ran through prairies. Arcanine has always been one of my favorites simply because of how majestic and beautiful it looks. If available, there's always a room for it on my team. Adding complement to influence, it was also meant to be a legendary Pokemon along with Zapdos and Articuno. Most of you probably know this, but it was replaced with Moltres, making it an all-bird trio. It is one of the most beautiful, majestic, yet masculine Pokemon. A wide surround mix that very few Pokemon have. Whoa. Oh, it's amazing what a drink can do. Number 1. Ninetales. The fox Pokemon, yeah. Its Ninetales are said to be imbued with a mystic power. It can live for 1,000 years. Very smart, intelligent, and vengeful. Grabbing one of its many tails could result in a 1,000-year curse, as explained in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the first series. According to an enduring legend, 9 noble saints were united and reincarnated as this Pokemon. It has long been said that each of the 9 tails embody an enchanted power. A long-lived Ninetales will have fur that shines like gold. Ninetales can cast a sinister light from its bright red eyes to gain total control over its foe's mind. Ninetales is the epitome of beautiful Pokemon. My opinion, period. And don't forget to throw in being totally badass, capable of controlling minds. I mean, seriously, which Pokemon can do that? What am I talking about? Call me a Gen 1 or whatever you want, but Ninetales is to me the most beautiful Pokemon. This might strike you as being pretty obvious, but I think that Ninetales and Arcanine would be a pretty good couple. So yeah, that's actually it. There you have it. Honorable mentions would be Pidgeot, Ho-Ho, Suicune, Altaria, Roserade, Cresselia, Minxiao, Articuno, Rapidash, Reshiram, Lumineon, Virizion, Lilligant, and Lapras. So yeah, that's my top 10 list of most beautiful... Blah. Fuck it, man. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like if you actually liked it, and that's it for me. See you later. That's such a bad ending. I need some creativity here.